This might be a mistake. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Monkey in the Morning. I'm your host, the Ranting Monkey. It is someday, and I hope you're having a good one out there. Boy, oh boy, I take a day off, not on purpose, mind you. And just all kinds of crap happens. Got to stop taking these days off so I can have boring days. Let's see. Before we begin, it's Tori's birthday, and I want to make sure I get this done before I start swearing a whole bunch. Tori, welcome to the double digits. Happy birthday. This one's for you. And a 1 and a 2. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tori. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, kiddo. Hope you have a great one, and enjoy it. Enjoy it. It's a fun time. Now, you have to go away now because Monkey's going to say words that you don't need to learn until you're much older. So, guys, what kind of 10-year-olds listening to the show? It's not that. Sometimes people have me sing it and they just play that clip for somebody that that's in their life. So, and by the way, there are some people who let their kids listen to this. You really shouldn't do that. Monkey says things he shouldn't say. All right. Speaking of which, I guess we're gonna have a interesting one tonight. I kind of want to start with the FaZe Nickmercs thing first because it's the shorter of the two stories. The other one, the Trump one, is a lot more. We'll get into the Trump indictment. It's a lot more in depth, but this one is so freaking annoying. It goes all the way back to the Glendale fight that happened 4 or 5 days ago now. So the Glendale school system out there in California has decided that they need to vote on whether to name June Pride Month. Apparently it's something they do every year, and the parents out there got wind of this and they decided to protest. Well, Antifa, being the shitbags that they are, heard that there was going to be a protest and showed up to cause violence because that's what they do. And it's exactly what happened. It's literally what happened. Antifa showed up and there's violence because that's what it's all there for. Don't believe any of this nonsense about, oh, we're just anti-fascist. If you don't agree with them, they'll beat you to death if they get the chance. That's how much they're against fascism. Anyhow, so this all happens, and some idiot, and I say idiot, I'll explain why in a second, tweets this out. Anti-LGBT protesters attack pro-LGBT demonstrators. I got one of them are protesters and one's demonstrators. Outside a Glendale, California school board meeting. School board is voting on recognizing June as Pride Month. Now, they lied from the start. The anti-LGBT protesters, one, aren't anti-LGBT. They're anti-teaching this shit to their children. That's what this was about. If you think LGBT means forcing that shit on children, then you are a fucking weirdo. Probably a pedophile. But this other guy answers, this happened 4 blocks from my Overwatch League apartment. Americans are in a sad place right now. Let people love who they love and live your own life. All right, sure. Why not? Now, a member of the FaZe clan, for those of you who don't know, these are video game players, and they've been around for quite a while. I believe they started in Call of Duty, and well, they're pretty famous out there. You got into FaZe clan, you pretty much made it. And this guy, FaZe Nickmercs, says they should leave little children alone. That's the real issue. Anybody see a problem with what he said there? Anybody see a problem with they should leave little children alone? That's the real issue. I'm willing to learn. Several people have tried to explain it to me. Several people have tried to explain to me how this is homophobic. And I'm going to be honest with you, everyone that has tried to so far eventually comes off sounding like a pedophile. And I'll give you an example. One of these guys told me, no, you see, Pride Month is just about learning self-respect. Let me do that in a more manly voice because I don't want to be stereotypical. It's about learning self-respect and just being proud of who you are. And yeah. When you have to lie about what it is, when you have to lie about your motive, they're not just teaching kids, oh, you need to respect yourself. Bullshit. That's not what it's about. That's not what pride is. Pride is a very specific pride. It's not, okay, it's June. Everybody be happy that you are who you are. Everybody. No. Just because you slashed off the front part of gay pride doesn't mean that's not what it is. There's a reason there's still rainbows everywhere. And now you've taken that rainbow and just made it fucking ugly with all the other shit you've added to it. But that's what it's for. And when you have to go out there and lie to me about what it's about, you're telling me not to trust your motives. That just makes you sound, I don't know, what's the word? Like a fucking pedophile. Why are you lying about what you're teaching kids? If I can't trust you in a Twitter discussion to tell me what you're teaching kids, how the fuck am I going to trust you with the actual children? Why would I trust you? What the fuck? So anyway, in Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, FaZe Nickmercs here, he had a skin in the game. And by that, I don't mean, he had money. No, he actually had a character in the game modeled after him. Call of Duty took it out because of this. I have in there, I gotta fix the title because I meant to put, did I put punished by Twitch? It should say punished by Call of Duty, and I wasn't paying attention when I wrote it. I'm just so used to Twitch being on the shit end of things these days. But Call of Duty came out and went, in light of what he said, we're removing his skin from the game. They skinned him. Yeah. They removed his skin because he said, leave little children alone. What fucking world do we live in where leave little children alone isn't met with agreement? Why are you arguing against leaving little children alone? Now, for just a little bit of context here, FaZe Nickmercs here has recently become a dad. And he doesn't want shit forced on his kid. He wants you to leave the kids alone. Let them grow up and be happy. Nope. This is a statement too far. Leave little children alone. Y'all get what you're saying when you go against that statement, right? You understand how that looks. You guys aren't even coming out and going, hey, look, we agree that we should leave children alone, but we do think that they should learn acceptance. No. It's just, no, we got to force this shit on them for self-respect. What the? I had one idiot right before the show tell me that their existence is being threatened because you can't talk to kids about being gay. Remember, this is mostly about the elementary schools out there in Glendale. This is the flashpoint. It's not middle schools and high schools, which is part of it, but the flashpoint of it was we're going to push this on elementary schools. Do you guys know how old kids are when they enter elementary school? It's kindergarten. They're either very late 4-year-old or 5. And you're like, we got to teach them about dick sucking. I don't think children should be taught about sexuality at all. Gay, straight, you banging your toaster, I don't care. That should not be anything in elementary school at all. That shouldn't be around them. You're like, no, if you say you should not. And you know what? Nobody has a problem. If I say heterosexual sex shouldn't be something that's being taught to 5-year-olds. Nobody says, how dare you, Frank? How dare you? How dare you? You just don't like the heterosexuals. But if you change that and go, I don't think homosexual sex should be something that's taught to 5-year-olds. You're like, oh my God. And then you wonder why people are like, you a bunch of grooming motherfuckers. Why are you doing it? There is a reason that there is a group called Gays Against Groomers, because the actual gay pride thing has been taken over by activists who want to touch kids. Period. End of story. That's it. That's what they're after. They want to bang your children, and they're trying to make it acceptable. Did you guys see Tucker Carlson's second episode? Tucker Carlson, I think it was yesterday. What's today? Today's the 9th. So yeah, it was yesterday. It was all about holding on to our taboos, and he brings up the whole map thing. This is a push that's happening out there, and they're nobody's pushing for this. Bullshit. We've seen this growing and growing and growing. This shit goes back to 2015. The map bullshit started popping up on a kind of regular basis in 2016. Oh, nobody's trying to fuck kids. Yes, they are. I am not saying gay people are pedophiles. I'm saying pedophiles are pedophiles, some of which happen to be gay. And for some reason, if they are gay, you're supposed to pat them on the back and cheer them on and tell your kids, hey, don't you dare judge that person who's trying to put their wiener in your butt. You go out there and be accepting of that. The fuck is wrong with this world? This guy gets canceled from a video game, which in the grand scheme of things it's canceled in a video game, but canceled in a video game. Gets canceled all across online because he said, leave children alone. Let that sink in. All right. Told you I was gonna be profane. Should get kids away from the screen. Yeah. Anyhow. Whew. Right before the show, I was watching a bunch of Senate hearing clips, and we might get to a couple of those later because some of those are fun. There was a hearing the other day where Ted Cruz just lights into the Democrats for rubber stamping all of Biden's judicial nominees, to the point even I was shocked by it. I expect partisan politics, but some of the nominees that they're just rubber stamping. I was just like, you what? We'll get to that a little late. Little tease for you guys. Before then, we got to talk about the former president of the United States, Donald J. Trump. He has been indicted for a second time, this time in federal court, on a, what was it, 38 felony counts, facing up to 100 years in prison. Also, his assistant, some guy that works for him, is facing 90 years in prison as well. And yeah, we should talk about it. Now, I saw Bill, what's his name? Shit, I know his name. You know what? I should bring it up on Twitter because it's there. I responded to it. No reason for me to sit here and try to. Bill Mitchell, that's his name. I haven't got there yet. Ha. See, that's what I was doing. I was proving to myself that my brain works, kind of. But he's the first one I saw today. I saw the indictment. It was coming down, and it was released today, and his is the first one I saw. And it says this: I've read the Trump indictment. Hey, I'll bring it up on screen for you guys. I've read the Trump indictment. I love his case of bold. He's got bold typing on here for those of you who can't see it. Sorry, folks. He's pretty much busted. That ends the bold. And then he says, this won't end well for Mr. Trump. Sad face. Not President Trump, Mr. Trump. All right, sure. And then back to bold, he tells us he admits to showing classified secret documents to individuals without security clearance. Not exactly. He also stated that he did not declassify these as president, and they were now in his possession. And then he links to the actual indictment. So I went and read the indictment because that's what I do. I don't take your word for it. I read shit, sir. And let me bring this one up on the screen. Here it is. I'll toss it into chat for any of you who haven't read it and would like to. It's overly long and brings up some shit that's entirely irrelevant. Like, for some reason in this indictment, it brings up Trump talking about how we need to hold document classification laws in higher regard. This goes back to 2016 when Hillary got away with, not taking care of classified documentation, which, by the way, not president. She wasn't the president. They hate to pull this shit out, or they hate to point that shit out when they're talking about, oh my God, you know what Trump said about classified documentation? You mean when they were running for president, and that there are different rules for classification when it comes to the president versus the Secretary of State, who, by the way, classified documents from her possession ended up on the computer of a child sex criminal, a guy who went to jail for sexing underage children with a baby on him as he's shoving his dick in his phone. Yeah, that's exactly the same. That's exactly the same. Fucking pieces of shit. Oh, anyhow. So this indictment is all about the classified documents and how they weren't properly cared for, how Donald Trump didn't have any business having them. How he, again, here, he showed off. He bragged about having these documents that he didn't declassify. Now, I will say this. When it comes to Trump's defense here, this is probably the biggest issue he's going to run into. I don't care about all this shit. You can read it if you want to. I want to get to that part. This is long. I hadn't had it pulled up in advance because I am not good at what I do. Here's pictures. You can see them online better. This is a photocopy of it. This is a ballroom at Mar-a-Lago where they had stored some boxes. Now, this is one thing they keep saying, is that we found these boxes with classified stuff in it. There's hundreds of boxes. Hundreds. Not every box had classified stuff in it. They keep trying to pretend that they did. Oh my God, you see these boxes? There's classified shit in all those. No, there's not, first of all. I even saw one person said, oh, Trump was stealing. This is all your stuff, ladies and gentlemen. No, that's not true. The vast majority of the stuff in those boxes, not only were they not classified, not only do they not belong to the National Archives, they are literally his personal property. But well, that's neither here nor there. They just try to make a big case over where this stuff was stored. And this is in a bathroom in one of the suites. Yeah, that they store some boxes there. And this is an actual storage room. He stored it in his storage room. And they go on to tell us this storage room was in a hallway. And there was access to that hallway. Yeah. I didn't think it was 20 feet underground, surrounded by lead, and you had to fucking teleport in there. There was a hole. Joe Biden kept his next to his fucking Porsche in his garage. Sorry, Corvette. You're right, Corvette. It was in his fucking garage with no Secret Service around. Anyhow. And then here in that storage, I know these pictures suck, but like I said, they're for some reason photocopied in here. This is some boxes in that storage room and got knocked over. Like, oh my God, some of the boxes were knocked over. Yeah, probably when somebody was going through them as they were supposed to. Now, here's the part Bill Mitchell was getting at. Trump is talking to a writer who's writing a book, right? They don't tell us who in this indictment. I'm sure you could go look it up because pretty much everything in here that's not listed by name, like, for instance, later on, we're going to talk about Country A. Country A is Iran. But as far as this is concerned, the indictment itself doesn't tell us any of this stuff. You have to look it up separately. Real quick. Hi, Jack. How you doing tonight, my friend?
Yeah, I've had better days. How you doing?
Yeah, you know. I'm pushing through, as they say. Yeah. Just talking about this dumbass Trump indictment. Now, guys, this is their best smoking gun. All right, 2 smoking guns. They have his confidant, his friend, whatever the fuck the guy was who worked for him, moving boxes that supposedly, holy shit, they weren't supposed to be moving. But other than that, this is their best smoking gun against Trump himself. This is this conversation between whoever was writing a book or writing a magazine article or whatever. They recorded this conversation. Trump knew he was being recorded, and this is the exchange. Before we get to there, RJ, thank you. Did you know Instagram has been covering up a pedophile ring within their own site, yet they won't get rid of the CP via the tags that the pedophiles are using? Yeah, the thing I talked about, Tucker Carlson's episode 2 yesterday, went over the Instagram stuff. Okay, so Donald Trump says, well, with the senior military official, this has been suggested to be Bolton, John Bolton. I almost said Michael, but you know. Let me see that. I'll show you an example, he said, that I wanted to attack country A. This is Iran. Isn't it amazing? I have a big pile of papers. This thing just came up. Look, this was him. They presented me this. This is off the record, but they presented me this. This was him. This was the Defense Department and him. Now, the reason that this came up like this, the reason Trump is talking about this, is because a certain senior military official went out there and was telling everybody as Trump is getting ready to leave office that Trump might try to start a war with Iran to keep himself in office. Poker, thank you so much. Who says, sup, hoes? Sup, sir.
Sup, Poker.
So Trump here basically kept evidence that it wasn't him who did it, that this was somebody else's idea. And he was like, no, I'm not going to do that. But this guy runs out and tells all these TV stations, Bolton, excuse me, even though we don't know who he is, that Trump was out there. He was gonna go attack Iran to keep things from maybe it was Milley at the time who was saying that part, the senior military official. He might try to start a war to keep it from going on. The writer says, wow. And Trump says, look, we looked at some. This was him. This wasn't done by me. This was him. All sorts of stuff. Pages long. Look. And a staffer says, Trump says, wait a minute. Let's see here. I just found, isn't this amazing? This totally wins my case, you know. He's just proving that he's not lying about this shit. That it wasn't him. You know, just like he was never going to leave office. Remember that? They were going to have to drag him kicking and screaming out. Remember that part?
Never gonna give you up.
He was going to use the military to keep himself there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He, just like real life, like he totally did. Oh, wait.
Scrolling down just a little bit, he goes, secret. This is secret information. Look at this. You attack. And by the way, isn't that incredible? I was just thinking because we were talking about it. And, you know, he said he wanted to attack the country. And what? This was done by the military and given to me. Oh, I think it can probably be right. I think we can probably, right? And the staffer says, I don't know. We'll have to see. Yeah, we'll have to try. Trump says, declassify it. And he says, as president, I could have declassified it. Now I can't, you know, but this is still a secret. There's the smoking gun they have. Trump bragging that's something secret. If this is the Iranian attack, the one that we're talking about, this goes back to the drone strike where they shot down one of our drones. And, oh, yeah, he didn't do that attack. There's no reason for that to be classified. It was published across the world that Trump was going to attack and decided not to because he requested an account of how many people would die. And he wasn't willing to kill a whole bunch of people over nothing. over a drone. Understatement. Thank you so much for the donation with no message. Appreciate it.
What if it was a really sexy drone, like one that had like racing stripes on it?
No, I mean, look, I'm not saying I wouldn't have blown up something and I ran over it. Trump was unwilling to. Trump was like, yeah, it's just a piece of military equipment. Fuck it. We got money. We'll buy another one. And there were tons of people, and Trump was ready to give the go-ahead until he asked for that assessment. It was something like, what was it, 125 people, something like that they thought might die?
Yeah, something like that.
And he's like, no, we're not doing that.
Not over a shitty drone.
Not over a drone.
It's not even manned. Like, if they had one of our dudes, okay, I could understand that, but...
Right. But that's not what it was, and this is what Trump is doing. He's backing up his point. Now, was it still secret? Now, this is where things get very, 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 very interesting. Very interesting. Now, this all kicked off because the National Archives said, hey, you have shit and we want it. And Donald Trump went, we're not giving it to you. And we're going to tell the DOJ on you. And the DOJ finds out that there's some classified documents. There's classified listing. And that's where we are. They hire this Jack Smith piece of shit who worked very quickly. I got to be honest. I expected them to drag this out in case they needed it next summer. You know?
Yeah.
But they can't take that chance because if they do it next summer and he is the nominee, they don't get it prosecuted fully until he's president. He pardons himself, and then where are you? There's lots of argument about whether a president can pardon himself. There's nothing that says they can't.
Yeah, I don't think anybody thought of that one, quite honestly. Like, that'll never come up.
You know, honestly, it probably would have helped Ford if Nixon would have pardoned himself before he stepped down.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Ford would have won re-election, I think.
Yeah. So instead, what we have is Ford it basically makes the deal. Yeah, I'll pardon him. And that tanked the rest of his career. There was no coming back from pardoning Nixon. Anyhow, so there's you guys might have heard this going around about Clinton's socks. Have you heard about Clinton's socks?
No. Were they full of spooge?
Oh, undoubtedly, many of them are. But no, this concerns a Judicial Watch case, and I mean, I'll bring it up on the screen just so you guys have something else to look at. But I'm not scrolling through it or anything, so you're gonna want the link that I'm gonna throw into chat if you want to read it. This is an article from Reuters that goes over what we're going to be talking about, right? It's a case from what?
I don't know. I was just saying shit. Oki said, "Don't forget the part where the National Archives said had asked for the documents." Trump said, "Sure, come get them," and they're like, "No, you bring them to us."
Yeah, there's that too. But this is a Judicial Watch case from the 1990s or 2000s. I'm not sure exactly when the case took place. I'm sure it might say in here. But it came to light that there'd been a reporter going around with Bill Clinton, recording audio of pretty much everything he did, including meetings with foreign dignitaries, some cabinet meetings. And Judicial Watch is like, we want those tapes. And they said, hey, that's Presidential Records Act. This happened while he was president. And they went to court over this. You know what the court told him? No.
Turn it over?
Nope.
Oh.
Court said actually that the archive, the archive law, the Presidential Records Act, and the archival law make it quite clear that the President of the United States gets to determine what is and is not his personal belongings.
Oh, so that actually gives Trump a lot of legal backup.
Well, Trump's team, do you remember when they named that special, it's not special counsel, what was it, the person to look into whether or not the the stuff taken from Mar-a-Lago should even be looked at. Special arbiter or some shit like that.
Oh yeah.
Well, the Trump team made this very case to that person, but it all got thrown out because that person was deemed to be unconstitutional anyway. So it's not part of their current case because the indictment just came down, but it's very likely they're going to use the very same legal precedent. This has been going on for quite a long time. This goes back. Nobody ever challenged that. Nobody went wrong. Oh, how dare? And the reason it comes up is because the tapes were reportedly kept in Bill Clinton's sock drawer at his home, not behind any walls. There was probably even hallways leading to the room that there was a sock drawer in, guys. So you're gonna have to basically challenge that other case and be like, no, this 100% is the National Archives. The way the statute is written, at least the way I am told here, is that, and I have read it, and that is how it read to me. But I'm not a legal scholar, so But it really does look like the president gets to determine what is his own personal stuff. And the judge did say, look, if somebody wants to challenge it, it has to be the archive. And this is very important. They said then it would be referred to DOJ. And if DOJ wants to pursue it, it would be a civil, not a criminal case. Odd, right? Because now we're in the middle of a criminal case. Now, Jack, I'll be honest with you. This doesn't look good for Trump on its face, but, and I said this to Bill, whatever the hell's his name is, not that he's going to pay attention to me, but it's not like they were going to come out and go, look, this is a fishing expedition. We're just doing this for partisan reasons. Please indict him anyway. I mean, this is going to be their best case. And their best case is already at least half gone based on this other ruling. Now, I saw somebody very upset that the rest of the Republican field has not come after Donald Trump over this. They said at any other time, all of the other Republicans would be demanding Donald Trump step down. Why? Seriously, why would they? At this point, why? Have any of them, anybody in the field right now, suggested that Joe Biden should resign from office? Because Joe Biden has no claim to the documents he had. None. Zero.
They were protecting his Corvette from water leakage, right?
Yeah. He was using his sandbags in case, water got in and got his tires dirty.
Exactly. Safe and secure.
None of these people can be out there and be like, hey, Trump should step down over this if they haven't said the same thing about Biden. Because then all you have to do is like, why didn't you say that about Biden? Do you know how that looks to voters? Even if you think Trump should be gone, all right? Which over this, I really don't, Jack. But even if you do, saying that all the others should come after him for this, unless they've been very vocal about Biden's conduct here, they need to keep their mouths shut. The most they should say about this is we should let the system play out. That's it. Otherwise, they should be like, look, I'm more interested in what I'm doing, not what is going on with Donald Trump. Because otherwise, all you're doing is showing the base, yeah, you support Biden more than Trump. And that's not a good place to be as a Republican. Like it or not, Trump still has a lot of support within the Republican base. So for those of you who are like, they should be demanding him shut up. Just stop it. And by the way, stop supporting this witch hunt against the president. So, Jack, anything you want to add to this bullshit nonsense indictment?
I have two related articles about it, but no, I mean this this really looks like they're reaching, and it looks incredibly political. If they didn't go after all these other people for having the exact same type of shit, or Hillary deleting her emails,
Yeah.
and scrubbing everything, this looks incredibly political, especially with as thin as this case actually does look.
They didn't go after Hillary when they found classified documents on Anthony Weiner's laptop.
Yeah, it makes them look overly political, and it really just looks to me like Merrick Garland has a major chip on his shoulder because he didn't get to be a Supreme Court justice, and he's blaming all the Republicans, specifically Trump.
Oh yeah. Frank, thank you so much. No. Joe does the crime. Trump takes the punishment. I can't see, in all seriousness, maybe Christie going at, somebody mentioned, Christie going after Trump. Maybe Christie hits Trump for this, but nobody takes him serious.
Yeah. No, if the other Republicans are smart, they'll back Trump on this because it makes them look good. It makes them look unified.
Yeah.
So by actually backing up Trump and saying like this is ridiculous, because like Clay and Buck had a couple people on their show that were running for president, DeSantis and I think Tim Scott. They might have had Vivek, I don't know. But they asked them would they pardon Trump, and I think that is a legitimate question for Republican voters. If you want the nomination and you want to win over Trump supporters, you're gonna have to say yes to that. I'm sorry, because this looks entirely politically motivated.
I think, I hate to say this, but I think you give a political answer on that. You say something to the effect of, it depends on what we're pardoning him for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it comes out that he killed a woman, then no. But if it's for this, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's just it. If I think it was Clay Travis said on today's show that because he's on vacation and called in special. I have way too much time on my hands during parts of the day. And he called in to sit off his vacation and say, look, if this had been like a drunk driving murder or something, yeah, if he'd done a Chappaquiddick, yeah, throw the book at him. But this is a paperwork crime. It's not even something people have been charged for to this degree ever, especially a sitting president. They are breaking all kinds of precedent here. Dangerous Banana Republic style precedent to get him over a fucking paperwork crime.
And I have to be honest, as I was reading the indictment, and I put this on Twitter, but it's not a joke. As I was reading this thing, all I kept hearing in my head was Joe Schumer saying the intelligence community has 6 ways to Sunday to screw you.
Yep.
That's all I kept hearing.
Yeah. This is out of control bureaucracy going after somebody. If they could do this to Trump, imagine what they could do to any of us.
Yeah, absolutely.
You could never defend yourself against something like this as a normal citizen. And Trump's a billionaire, and he's probably going to get found guilty by these assholes. They'll find a way to get him found guilty of something, whether it's the New York case, the Georgia case, or this one. They will find something to punish him with because he has the wrong opinions. He is the wrong thing for this country, according to our elite bureaucrats. And this should terrify all of us. This is a potential republic breaker. I mean, if enough people lose faith in the system, you're looking at like people really getting out of hand. The shit they bitch about on January 6th is going to look like the goddamn walk in the park it actually was.
I say let the courts play this one out. Hopefully that means a judge looks at this and just laughs so hard that the ink runs from him crying about it, laughing so hard. And he's like, no, get the fuck out. Go away. Go. No.
That'd be nice, but I just don't have that much faith in the justice system anymore. There's too many politicized judges.
That's a good segue. Because I don't necessarily want to get away from this, Jack, but I do want to listen to something that I teased just a little while ago. And this is why, while I say I want the justice system to play out, I don't trust it. So the other day, and guys, this is going to be on my internet, of course, so we'll be listening more than we're watching. But Do you remember that they had to drag poor old Dianne Feinstein back from
Oh God, yeah. Oh, the
the morgue?
Democrats are fucking necromancers at this point.
Well, the reason they did that is so that they could get some judicial nominees through. And so they've been having these hearings, Jack, where each of these senators is given 5 minutes to question up to 5 different candidates in committee, right? 5 candidates, you have 5 minutes to question them. And even with that, some of them have proven to be shockingly, ridiculously unqualified for where they are to be being nominated for a federal bench.
Let me find some surprise around here somewhere. Still out of stock.
No, listen, I'm with you. So when I went to watch this, I was like, I'm sure. Oh my God. There was one where I said out loud, wow.
Yeah, this is like one of those man on the street things where like they can't possibly be real dumb people. And they are.
You do not know how accurate that is. Or maybe you do. But for the audience, you have no idea how accurate the man on the street dumb is.
Yeah. Oh, so, I deal with normal people every day and they're fucking retarded.
So this is Ted. He just has this is statement time. This isn't for questions. This is almost 10 minutes long. And we're going to watch it all. And I will do my best not to interrupt too much. But again, guys, we're on my potato internet, so you're going to be listening along. I'll throw the video in the chat if you guys want to catch it yourselves on your own. There's not I mean, this is one of those things that can easily be done just through radio, you know. He has a couple of graphics he puts up, but he also reads them, so it's not a big deal. So anyway, this is concerning several of the candidates that have been up there. This was 11 days ago, Jack.
2 or 3 nominations. Charnel B.L. Kindgren, nominated to the Eastern District of Washington. Does anyone seek recognition to speak on her nomination? Senator Cruz?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm glad to welcome our colleague, Senator Feinstein, back to this committee. But
nobody, not me, says, is this going to make me cry? That depends. How much faith do you have in American government and American jurisprudence?
Yeah, after watching this show for a couple years, you should have like 2%.
And even then, yeah, it'll probably still make you cry.
Yeah.
I will say what's going to happen next, I think, is going to be quite unfortunate for the American people. Because what we're about to see this committee do is vote on several nominees who are so extreme, who are so unqualified, that they could not have a prayer of getting even a single Republican vote on this committee.
Now, that needs to be separated there. There's unqualified and there's extreme, and he gets to both of them. The extreme is the last thing he does, and that one just made me go, I guess it's time to do a show. So hang in there, guys. Like I said, it's almost 10 minutes long. It's important that you see that this is going on in your government.
And as everyone knows, Senator Graham votes for most of Biden's nominees. It is unusual that Senator Graham does not give a Republican vote to a Biden nominee.
And
but there's a
for the record, and I don't necessarily disagree with Graham on this in principle. Graham's contention, and this goes back to the nominations of Merrick Garland for the Supreme Court and such, is that, look, even though we don't like their nominees, it just comes down to political philosophy. They're not a bad person. They're not an unqualified person. They're just on the other side, and that is not a good enough reason to challenge.
It's a good enough reason that they're a fucking retard.
Again, and that's what Teddy's pointing out here, is that even Graham is saying no.
Small subset of these nominees that are so beyond the pale that they have no prayer of getting a Republican nominee. And frankly, if my Democrat colleagues valued the responsibility of the Senate's advise and consent.
Wait. Ty, how you doing, man? Says DOJ Garland literally put me on a domestic terrorist list. Really?
Wow.
I'm not shocked, honestly. You have the wrong opinion, sir. And it wouldn't matter what color your skin is, but especially with your color, you have the exact wrong opinions. Didn't Whitey tell you what to think, dude? Come on. You know better.
Jesus, man. Yeah, sorry to hear that.
I mean, tell me that I'm wrong, that's how Democrats treat black people.
Oh, that's absolutely how they treat black people. You're a part of a monolith. You're not an individual with ideas of your own. What?
Ty, we got to have you on again sometime. I can't do it tonight because I'm not even sure how long we're going. By the way, guys, if you don't watch Modern Renaissance Man, make sure you do.
Yeah, go subscribe.
I had the news video to show it. I had to pull over and do a live news interview. Wow, dude.
Damn.
Yeah. God, I'm trying to think of a good time this coming week to see if I can have you on. What's a good way to get a hold of you? Is it still your email? We got to get together and chat if you're willing, my friend. But yeah, if you guys aren't watching Modern Renaissance Man, make sure you go do so. Does great stuff. Does a lot of commentary videos, and if you go back far enough, you'll see him reacting to music, which is another thing I like that he does. I'm gonna keep bringing that up ever since I found out. You know, I like my music reactions.
I know.
Anyhow, back to this depressing shit. Seriously, guys, this one. It might sound like Ted is being hyperbolic here. He's not. He's actually underselling this of how bad these nominees are. I mean, and I'm telling you this as somebody who sat here and showed you guys them put up somebody to run the FAA who had no experience with anything. He was a CEO of an airport once, so he can run a business. Maybe. I don't know how well the airport did. No idea about actual FAA bullshit at all. No pilot experience, nothing. That's who they put up.
Monkey, look, they should have put Sam Brighton up for that. Brighton, because he's really good at airports by stealing luggage.
True. And that's probably what they were upset about.
Yeah, because, I mean, sure, they put him in charge of nuclear waste disposal, but he clearly had more experience in the airline industry.
Christ. All right.
My Democrat colleagues would tell the White House these nominees are unacceptable. This first nominee, Charnel Beckelgren, is so amazingly unqualified. She may well have the title for the least qualified nominee I've seen in 11 years serving on this committee.
Wow.
He's not wrong, Jack. Let's play a little party game real fast before we get to this. Just to see how unqualified this person is. If you had to guess, all right, and I'm going to tell you, there is a number here from 1 to 100. How many cases do you think this person who's about to be put up for a judgeship has ever tried?
0.
Nope. There's a number.
Oh, is it a negative number?
No.
5.
All right, guys, make your guesses, and it is above 0. I promise. It's not 0. This person's going to be a federal judge.
When Senator Kennedy asked her what Article 5 of the Constitution was, she had no idea.
I remember that.
When Senator Kennedy asked her what Article 2 of the Constitution was, she said, I don't know.
What is Article 2 of the Constitution? This is somebody who's up for a judgeship. Do you know where it's laid out? The powers of a judge? It's in the Constitution.
What's a constitution?
Now, I don't want to step on Ted because he's going to go over a lot of this, but Article 2 is the president. Article 3 is the judiciary. This is a judge. She couldn't answer that. This is a person who'd been through law school. Could not answer what Article 2 is.
Maybe she went to like the discount strip mall law school. You know, like all night classes, paying cash each day, that sort of thing.
Guys, this is the video I literally watched right before I started the show. I would have been here actually probably 15 minutes earlier if it wasn't for this, because goddamn. But you get what I'm getting at, Jack, where I'm like, I don't trust, even though I think this should be played out through the legal system, I don't trust it. This is who Democrats are nominating. This is who Joe Biden thinks would be a great juror.
Oh, look, come on now. Joe Biden's not making any of these decisions.
Okay.
This is some Soros-backed clown working in his admin.
Mind you, Article 2 is the provision of the Constitution that creates the president and the executive branch of the government. Any first-year law student that didn't know what Article 2 of the Constitution was would flunk con law. This is not some obscure question about some Latin phrase no one should know. This is literally the basic architecture of our Constitution. By the way, Joe Biden.
Quick, I'm being asked for, don't worry, the number's coming. The number's coming. Hold on to your number about how many cases this person had been involved in.
Biden has nominated her to be an Article 3 judge. Article 3 is right after Article 2. It creates the federal judiciary. I assume she doesn't know what that is either. I would note that the chairman, in defending her, suggested, well, gosh, there may be some members of our committee that don't know what Article 2 is. I feel confident that's not true, but if there is on either side of the aisle, you should stand up and resign the committee right now.
Absolutely. This is the Judiciary Committee.
Yeah.
And if you don't know your basic Constitution, you shouldn't even be in the office that you have, but you damn sure should not be on this committee. Anyhow, and that was that's the committee chairman, guys, Dick Durbin. He's the asshole we saw at the beginning. That was his excuse for this chick. Oh, probably people on this committee don't know what it is. Then you shouldn't be here, sir. Everybody write it down and pass your slips in with your name on it. And if you get it wrong, you're out. How is that not a... Never mind.
To give you a sense of how unqualified this nominee is.
Here's your answer, guys.
She listed in her judiciary questionnaire her top 10 litigated cases. I just want you to pause and read this for a second. Her top 10, she did a driver's license revocation. She did a second driver's license revocation. She did an unemployment benefits appeal. She did another unemployment benefits case. She did another unemployment benefit case. And her sixth case was an unemployment benefits case where on the opposing side was a pro se litigant. In other words, this poor fella didn't have a lawyer. And you know what? The pro se litigant beat her. She
6 cases, one of which she lost to somebody without a lawyer.
I was close. I said 5.
And yes, Brett, she's nominated for a federal judgeship. That is a real thing going on in your country right now.
It's ridiculous.
And at this point, she may have even been confirmed already. I didn't look it up. Like I said, I was getting close to the 10 o'clock number that I gave myself, and I was trying not to be late. But yeah, 6, at least one of which she lost to a non-lawyer.
He lost to a pro se litigant. What's her 7th most consequential case? I'm sorry, there isn't one. There's not an 8th, there's not a 9th, there's not a 10th.
And remember, these are her most consequential cases. And 2 of them are people getting their license taken away. That's right, guys. I don't know which state this is in, which federal judgeship she's being nominated to, but she's going to be deciding for your friends and family soon if you're in that area.
I think Lindsay nailed it pretty well. Lol, what?
I know, right?
She's argued over a couple of driver's licenses.
Yep.
And the Biden White House says you should be a federal judge, an Article 3 judge, not that you have any idea what in the hell that is.
I love that part.
In this administration, if you
So this is for Eastern Washington. Thank you, OGG.
were a left-wing radical, it doesn't matter if you're competent.
Yeah.
In Washington
Go
State,
ahead.
is
Oh,
there
yeah, you just said it right there. Washington State.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're competent as long as you have the right politics. They'll rule it politically, and if they're overturned, whatever. But if they're not, awesome.
not a single competent lawyer who is competent to be a judge? And by the way, for all the Democrats, since Joe Biden has become president, every one of you has rubber stamped every single nominee. Is there not a one of you that is willing to say enough is enough?
No, Ted, there's not. There's not. Because
Why would they
for them,
want to do that?
yeah, because it is entirely team sports up there.
Yeah. And they could just make up the law, and if it manages to slip by the appellate division, then they just made case law.
And I just want to point out that that is not a typically you do rubber stamp your own side's nominee. But there's only one side that does it every time.
Yeah.
When Donald Trump was president on the Republican side, we confirmed some fantastic judges, but there were several we sent back that we said, no, you missed it on this one. There's not even one Democrat willing to say enough is enough. And by the way, she's not the only one. Another one being considered, a nominee, Cato Cruz. Thankfully not spelled C-R-U-Z, spelled C-R-E-W-S. When asked about Brady versus Maryland, one of the foundational criminal law classes, again, first-year criminal law, you learn about Brady. She said, I'm sorry, I don't know what Brady is. That'll be a problem if she's ever presiding over a criminal case.
Well, nah, then she can have somebody else look that up for her. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know what Brady is, but lawyers should.
Who was it? Brady versus who?
I forget already. I could hit the button and see.
Ever presiding over.
Oh, we got to go back too.
You learn about Brady. She said, I'm sorry, I don't know what Brady is.
I didn't go back far enough.
That'll be a problem if she's
Maryland. Thank you, Eagle.
Oh, yeah.
Is it
It's
ever
that's
presiding-
the government's ability to withhold evidence.
Oh, okay.
over a criminal case.
Well, with January 6th, why would we need to worry about Brady v. Maryland?
Oh, look, we could just ignore these laws, apparently. If they don't know about it, it doesn't matter.
Brady's discovery. Yeah, I know I've heard the term before, but I didn't look it up. And not being a lawyer myself, these are ones that, I got to look up when we're talking about them.
I just looked it up. But
yeah,
look, if she had guessed the gun case, fine. I would have at least been like, wrong Brady, but okay, cool. At least you know some legal stuff. But be like, oh, not a good look.
Oh, sorry. Cato Cruz is a dude. Fair enough. Zono says, can she be voted out? No. If they get this federal judgeship, they can only be removed for bad behavior. Mm-hmm.
There are a number of members of this committee who have tried criminal cases. Do you know what Brady is? Of course you do. Because if you're remotely competent, you know what it is, not this judge. Look, sadly, the standard for nominees now seems to be licensed attorneys in Washington. Have you ever handled a criminal case? You ever tried a jury trial? Have you ever stepped foot in federal court? Well, then please contact Senate Democrats because you too can be a federal judge.
That would be funny if it wasn't true. I mean, if we're looking at the first person he's talking about, two of her cases weren't even in federal court. That was state court if it was a license revocation.
Yeah.
And chances are in the other ones being workman's comp kind of things, those were probably not in federal court either. Anyhow.
I want to end with one more nominee.
This guy.
That we're getting ready to ram through on party line votes. That is Judge Marion Gaston, nominated for a seat in San Diego.
I need everybody out there to take deep breaths right now. Find your center and hang on to it.
Judge Gaston, look, we've seen some radicals. We had a nominee earlier that this committee rubber stamped who said he woke up every morning motivated by his hatred for conservatives. Senate Democrat says, sounds like a judge to me. But let's see just how moonbat crazy we're willing to put on the bench. Here's a quote from Judge Gaston. Children are not safer because registered sex offenders are prohibited from residing near schools, parks, daycare centers, and other places where children tend to gather.
What?
This isn't the bad part, Jack.
Oh, dear God.
Yeah, as stupid as that is, just wait.
And in fact, Judge Gaston continued. Let's go to the next one. Judge Gaston continued. The conclusions and recommendations are that, difficult as it might be, so at least Judge Gaston recognizes this is pretty wingnut. The conclusion, laws that regulate where sex offenders may not live should be repealed or substantially modified in the interest of public safety.
You see, guys, to make your kids safer, what you got to do is make it so pedophiles can live right next to you, right next to the elementary school, to the public park. That's not, look, go to that first one and okay, maybe you can make an argument, but that it doesn't show a decrease in risk. Fine. I don't agree with that. I think that's probably pulled right out of his ass.
Yeah.
But to go from there to say that, no, what you have to do to keep people safe is have the pedophiles, beating off in the window, looking at the public park. Federal judge, you guys. Or going to be.
I want you to understand the Joe Biden White House is saying a radical who wants sex offenders, who wants pedophiles to be able to live next door to daycares. That's who should be a federal judge. Look, some of y'all here represent blue states. Many of y'all represent blue states. I guarantee you in any one of your states. You go to Vermont, ask the people of Vermont, hey, what do you think about having a pedophile live next door to an elementary school, to a kindergarten, to a daycare? They'd look at you and say, are you out of your mind? That's who the Biden White House has given you. Now, I genuinely don't understand why Senate Democrats on this committee don't have enough respect for the constitutional role of the Senate to exercise some check and balance on the White House. I don't think they'll make you hand in your card-carrying Democrat cards to say, gosh darn it, we ought to have a judge who knows what the heck he's doing. John Kennedy has left bloody carcasses in this hearing from Trump nominees who didn't have sufficient experience to do the job. I ask my colleagues, if you vote for these nominees, you're going to have to defend them to your constituents. You're going to have to explain why a lawyer who handled a couple of driver's license revocations and doesn't know what Article 2 of the Constitution is should be a federal judge in charge of your life, your rights, and the law.
And I know there's a moment more left, but that's a good place to stop it. This is why, Jack, I think that we should let the old Trump thing play out in court, but I just don't trust the courts either.
Yeah, I don't either.
These are the people that are being nominated. These are the people that the Democrat, they are rubber stamping them. And some of the ones that Lindsey Graham has given his little rubber stamp to have been just as bad. Okay, maybe not just as bad. These are probably the worst too. But for God's sake, I'm astonished Monkey kept quiet for that long. I thought it was important that part get out there. Democrats, by all means, back your guys' nominations, but not over common sense. That the one bitch has been in court 6 times, lost once to a guy who wasn't a lawyer. She's going to be a federal judge.
Ridiculous.
This Gaston person thinks it's okay for pedophiles, not just okay, Jack, necessary for the safety of the public, for pedophiles to live near playgrounds and kindergartens and daycare centers. It's necessary for the safety of the American public. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to be the one to upset you. I really don't. I want to see something like this, and I want to see everybody come together, Democrat, Republican, Independent, everybody go, what the fuck were they? No. That's what I want. Unfortunately, we live in this real world where things have just gotten fucking weird.
Yeah.
Lesser Logic said, I'm actually kind of mad. I'm always mad, but I'm more kind of mad. I guys, I watch a lot of this stuff, and most of the stupid doesn't surprise me. I laugh at it and share it with you guys, but it doesn't surprise. This was, are you fucking insane?
I think the correct answer is yes.
I'm waiting for a Biden nominee to come through and be like, I watched all 700 episodes of Matlock. I don't know how many episodes of Matlock there were, but however many. See, I don't know, so I can't be a federal judge. Damn it.
Monster.
I'll bet you I'm more qualified to be a federal judge than that first chick was.
I think you're probably more qualified than any of these people from the sound of it.
Jesus Christ. And they do. This is what they brought Feinstein out of her crypt for, is to rubber stamp these people.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Don't worry. Soon it'll be somebody other than Feinstein because she's retiring, and you know who wants her seat. They won't get on the Judiciary Committee immediately, but you know who wants her seat, right?
Isn't that Shifty Schiff?
Adam Schiff, googly-eyed penis himself, indeed. I, as a Jew, am automatically qualified to be a lawyer or doctor. Well, Darth, throw your hat in the ring. Just be careful throwing around the J word around the Democrats. They only like you in theory. And I would stay away from New York City. I don't expect much from our government anymore, but it's hard to make the case that we need more government when this is what we have.
Yeah, if anything, this makes me want to cut even more departments out of the government.
Sucky for $5. Thank you so much. Who says Hunter Avalon's wife left him? Yeah, we talked about that off air the other day. I did send BX Beast Boy a message and asked him if it was his fault.
Oh yeah, he did a video about it. And,
did he? Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. It's worth a watch too. It was fun.
I have not been. No, it is 100% real. He tweeted it out the other day. He's taken it down since, but it was
other people that recently got pissed off by him have archived it.
Yeah, there's even an article written about it, a very short, not very good one, but just somebody basically laughed. Look, I don't want him going through heartbreak and whatnot, but I mean, be a man for your woman. Maybe she'd be around.
Yeah. Well, I don't wish him ill. That's a rough thing to go through, but
I still think he probably banged one of his fans. Some lucky guy out there got the Hunter treatment.
Yeah.
They know what it's like to be deep inside a Hunter.
Jarbo strikes again.
Excuse me, sorry. Yeah, we did see that, but it's not one of those things I'm gonna take a lot of joy. Maybe have a joke or two about, but then my problem with him isn't him and his wife's weird relationship. It's the fact that he's a douchebag who thinks that we need to take it easy on pedophiles. I wonder if he's that judge in question there.
Oh, might be.
Is his real name Gaston?
No, it's his Hunter's his dead name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Stone is his new manly man name. Real quick. Thank you. Understatement. Okay, I get that the laws may need refining. I could get that. But in the interest of public safety, I think people, including you two, can overdo the pedo accusations, but that's either the most poorly worded word since word came to Word Town or just insane. Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, and
Yeah.
that judge sounds like a real weirdo who needs his hard drive checked.
That's what I'm saying. Even if you give him the first half of the statement, because Ted showed the two different slides. If you go with the first one, okay, you'd have to show me your evidence. I'm not going to agree with you. I still think just in the nature of keeping them away, you keep kids keep pedophiles away from kids. If they can't get near kids, then they can't touch kids, right? But that part, fine, make your argument. But the second part, that it was for the public safety, you had to let pedophiles live near him. Because he said get rid of them or modify them, those laws. All right. No, I think you just want to touch children and you're worried that you won't get to live near your school. That's who they're putting forward. That's the Biden's best right there. Hunter left his wife for her boyfriend. No. What probably happened is Hunter's wife's boyfriend was like, I need him to go. And she's like, I'm sorry, you're not allowed to listen anymore.
He found out because they just changed the locks while he was out one day.
They sent him out for cigarettes. He didn't take the hint.
Yeah.
That's not nice. Anyhow, I don't mean to take joy in that, but fuck that guy. He's an asshole. Who wants to make the world safer for pedophiles? Fuck off.
A bunch of perverts running things these days, man. I'm telling you that there's a major push by a lot of people, mostly out of academia, that seem to want to normalize pedos, and it bothers me.
Yeah. There's way too much of it. I mean, I was talking about this before you got here, Jack, because we talked about the FaZe Nickmercs thing, where all he said is, leave little children alone, and everybody's like, how dare you say that? Why is that a horrible thing to say? And then we, they keep telling us nobody wants to touch children. Why is MAP a thing that most people have learned?
Yeah. Why does it seem to be that a bunch of people that are a little too eager, that are weird, want to be around kids? Just saying, they may not be pedos, but they are definitely suspect.
So yeah, that's going to be a federal job. I'll have to look that up and see if that guy got confirmed, because I'm sure by now that he probably hasn't been confirmed yet. I'm sure the Judiciary Committee. What we're watching there, guys, is the hearings. The Judiciary Committee, the nominees come before them. The nominees get to ask questions or get asked questions by the Judiciary Committee. This is what I was talking about. They each get 5 minutes to ask their questions. In front of them, there's anywhere from 1 to 5 different nominees. So in some of the cases, you literally have a minute per person to ask a question. And then they all vote to elevate it to the full Senate, and then it's voted on there. So I don't know. I'm sure they all passed the judiciary. I don't know if they've already been confirmed by the full Senate yet. We'll see. I'm sure he will be. And then the world can be safe for pedophiles again. All right. I have other stuff I want to talk about. Like I said, I had a couple of days off. Well, I had a day off. and the world just went kind of weird while I was gone. Oh, I want to talk about this. Do you know who Harry Garside is? Do you know the name?
No.
He's an Australian who he's a boxer and he's an Olympic boxer, and he got arrested for beating his wife.
Oh.
Yeah. And the charges have been dropped, Jack. Which is good, right? But what most of the stories out there about it are not telling people is that the charges were dropped because there's video evidence that she was actually assaulting him.
I mean, should I be surprised at this point?
You know who, as far as I know so far, has not been charged?
Her?
Her.
Oh, yeah. That's not surprising.
Hey, Nuts, how you doing tonight, sweetheart? Just
Hi,
a,
Stargazer.
I can't remember if we ever talked about that on here when it happened, when he got arrested. I remember the story when it happened, but yeah, the charges have been dropped in that case, which is good because he didn't do anything wrong. Oh, what else do we have here? Don't care. We already talked about that. Oh God. Do I want to talk about this bitch again? Yeah, I kind of do. Kind of do. Pearlie's at it again.
Oh.
She tweeted this out yesterday. You are supposed to respect your husband like you respect your boss. Expecting your boss to ask your permission for big decisions is silly. He may ask your opinion, but it's his decision at the end of the day. Hey, Pearlie, let me ask you something. How come you ain't married yet? You've been on this kick for a year and you can't find no man to even want to put his wiener in you, much less put a ring on it. I mean, you basically going like Japanese here. You're gonna run around with the kimono, never saying a word unless you're asked.
Well, if you're doing it right, that is the way to treat your man, right? Look, I don't know. I think this woman's just grifting.
She's
I don't
absolutely
like
just
using that
grifting.
word, but
She's repeating what males that are also typically unmarried say to her and making a lot of money off it. And good for her for making your money. But any woman who is trying to find a husband based on this, look how well it's working out for Pearlie. The question is irrelevant. No, it's not. She's giving wife material advice. She should be able to answer why her ugly, unwashed ass hasn't got married yet. Anyhow, Jack, she should be great at it. There should be men lining up. She knows exactly what they want. They should be lining up to marry this chick.
She doesn't make good sandwiches or something.
Maybe that's what it is. But see, I bet she knows she's supposed to make good sandwiches, so she should go out there and learn how to make good sandwiches.
Yeah, you'd think so.
Yeah. Put in the work. Put in the work, girl, and brush your goddamn hair. I already did that one. Most of what I was talking about today was discussing to Jack. I wasn't online the last couple of days. I in pain.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of stuff that I did today was all about the two top subjects, but there's other things, including this one. It's a poll that came out in North Carolina in an 8-way race. Donald Trump is 44% to DeSantis is 22%, and everybody else is an also ran. In a 2-way race, Donald Trump jumps to the 50%, which is good for Donald. But he only jumps 6 points where DeSantis jumps 12 to 34.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of backs up what a couple of commentators have said, is that these other contenders are actually dragging DeSantis down.
Oh, they absolutely are. Now, chances are of that 15% undecided in the 2-way race, Trump gets enough to go over the 50% mark. But we're also still well away from the nomination.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about this poll to me, though, besides that, because it's just interesting. It doesn't mean anything yet because we're too far away.
Yeah.
But according to this poll, and this is North Carolina specific, Mike Pence is at 6%. And when I saw that, I was like, I don't know if I trust this. Mike Pence at 6. That means 1 out of every 100 Republicans you run into is a Mike Pence supporter in North Carolina.
Did they get all their poll results from like an old folks home? They're like,
Sorry.
I like that Mike Pence. He seems like a good boy.
6 out of every 100. I forgot how I just said it, but 6 out of every 100. So I just have a feeling that that's not true. 3 out of every 50? That doesn't seem right. I don't even know 3 out of 50 people who know who Mike Pence is, and he was the vice president.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, most people don't remember the vice president.
No. 0.6 maybe. Yeah, I'm sorry. Mike Pence that high up just seems ridiculous to me. Like absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, those are joke responses. Like, who do you want to win? Mike Pence,
right? And look, I don't think Mike Pence is necessarily a bad guy. He's just boring. He makes Al Gore look exciting.
Yeah, I don't trust Pence. He seems like he's up to something.
Pumpkin Hawk, thank you. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi, Monk. Hi, Jack. I hope everything's going well. Any game planned later? No. When we're done here, Monk is going and laying his ass back in bed, where I've spent the majority of my day.
Oh, hi, Pumpkin Hawk.
Not much sleep involved there, Jack, but I have been. I'm like a hooker, man. I'm on my back a lot, but I'm not sleeping. They have more fun than I do.
Yeah, they have a lot more sex than you do for money.
All right, this one. Oh fuck, I hate these people. I fucking hate these people. I fucking hate them. I fucking hate them. Now, like with that on my system, I'll tell you all what I'm talking about. This is from The Verge. You know what The Verge is?
90s grunge band.
Apparently, there's some website. Summer Game Fest featured no women on stage.
So it's for video games, right?
Wait. Oh, yes. This is all about video games.
Then what? Unless they're gonna trot out some pretty girl to be like, "Oh my god, this game's awesome." Why would there be a girl on stage?
Dude, there's a great part of this that I'm gonna have to read this shit out loud to people. Fuck, this pissed me off the first time I read it. Let me get this first. Thank you. Understatement. Her ideology isn't her problem. Her problem is that she's not very attractive. Bullshit. Ugly women get married all the time. Can't blame it on that. Regardless of what people tell you, looks matter. Walk through Walmart, count the ugly married women.
Well, I think if she took care of herself a little better, like got on a workout regimen, did something with her hair, and didn't look kind of slovenly, it probably would help her prospects.
The other problem is she's too high value now to want a man that would settle. She's a fat 4 that lives in a world of 7s. I'm sorry, you just will not convince me. I did read the rest. You and tell me, okay, look, I see ugly women get married. An ugly rich chick can't get married?
Actually, I'm kind of with understatement on this one because men generally don't care about your money. I mean, she could probably find some gigolo, but yeah, she's probably making too much money for the average dude that would hook up with her.
Circus Zero, you beat me to it. Honey Boo Boo's mom got married.
That's just trailer trash.
You're not telling me there's not a hot rich guy. Okay. I didn't see anything in her tweet about your boss man being your rich husband. I ain't seen nothing about that. Maybe I misread it. To who? Let's see. Her audience is probably, if I'm guessing, 95% men. Easily. And she can't find one guy in there. She got catfished by a fat black guy with kids. But she can't just find it's just the standard's too high. I guess. I mean, look, man, I know you like her, but she's a fucking grifter. She is just repeating shit that she's heard from Fresh and Fit and making lots of money off of dumb men for it. And good for her for taking advantage of stupid men. Apparently, that's what you're supposed to do to men. Anyway.
She probably lacks a lot of self-confidence.
She's a woman, hot, rich guys, always implied. Again, we've seen the guy who catfished her, who she stayed with, who was homeless, according to her, a homeless millionaire.
I'd be willing to bet her standards are too high, too. Because
again,
she thought the other guy was a millionaire.
Again, she didn't leave him when she found out. She stayed. She was there for a while.
Women make bad decisions. That's all I got.
Women are not the same as men when it comes to attractiveness. It's not as important to them. Anyway, I want to read this subheading. Games Fest featured no women. For an industry that struggles with diversity, it is a failure to not be inclusive of women who also make games. Keep that part in mind, Jack.
Yeah.
No, it's important. With the death of E3 nearly complete, Summer Game Fest has become the go-to summer event for gamers to get hyped about games. Was that what E3 was for?
Yes.
E3 hasn't really been that in a long ass time. All right. But this year's Summer Game Fest, while it featured games that included a wide range of genres and a great diversity of characters, did not feature a single woman on stage. Throughout the almost 2-hour showcase, host Jeffrey Keighley brought up a number of personalities to interview on stage. He had industry veteran Ed Boon to talk up about Mortal Kombat 1. Nick Cage made an appearance to talk about his Dead by Daylight character. Brian Intihar came on stage to reveal the release date for Marvel's Spider-Man 2. But not once was a woman given that opportunity. You've said that already. The lack of inclusion is particularly jarring because a great many of the games included in the showcase itself featured female main characters. I'm particularly jazzed about Lifsgana, how do you say that fucking thing? A time shift warrior, an action RPG featuring a woman of color who can make duplicates of herself to help her fight. Now, that's where we're stopping. I'll throw it in the chat if you guys want to read the rest of the stupid shit. This game does feature a female character. And it is a character of color, I guess. But it's made by men. The company was founded by a dude. It's run by dudes. It's everything that I could find about them is all dudes.
So they're a bunch of bastards, is what you're telling me.
So your complaint is that even it's got a girl character. Okay, but if they brought on the CEO of the company, it would have been a dude. It was just I got to that part and I'm like, I can't. I just can't read this shit.
So what she's saying is that dude should step down and let a woman take the role because there's a woman character, right?
No, they just need to bring women on. And I did read the rest of this because this is down near the end. Where does she say it? Representation matters. It's just that simple. We know games are being made by a wealth of people, and we need to see them because it signals to the people watching that they too have the capability to do what they love. All right, stop. Who showed the first man who made a video game that you can make a video game? If the only way you can know that you can do something is if somebody else has already done it, how the fuck has anything ever gotten done? This idiot goes on to write, Mr. Keighley, you can feature women in your shows. You've done it before, and I'd even argue that it's easy to. Right after Summer Games Fest ended, the day of the Dev Showcase began, and I didn't have to wait long at all to see someone who looked like me. Okay.
What is this current obsession with people that look like them?
Well, this has become the narrative. This is why it's a way to force diversity, Jack. You see, it's not just so that you can give a woman who deserves a job a job. It's so that someone who might want to think about having that job can see that, hey, this is a job I could have. That's literally the argument. Is it maybe there's a little Asian kid at home and they see Hirohito Mama Chino, whatever his name is, up there on stage and go, oh, I could be a video game developer. And then you show some fat, crippled, trans black woman, and then there's a 5-year-old crippled black trans woman at home who's like, oh, I could be a video game developer. It's common sense.
Yeah. Why is it these people can't do their own? They're always telling you, do your own, make your own Twitter, blah, blah, blah. Make your own thing. Well, then why don't they ever do that? They always infiltrate and take over something and then tell you to go create something of your
own. Because they know that if they did that themselves, they have the ability, Jack. People would throw money at a women's game expo.
Ugh.
Problem is, it probably wouldn't do all that well. And it's hang on, it's not because women can't program video games. It's because the kind of women who do this are advocacy people.
Yeah.
They make shit like Depression Quest. It's there are great female game developers out there. You know what they're doing?
Working.
They're making video games.
Yeah, they're shutting up and working. Yeah, it is a worldwide struggle session. You're not wrong,
it's exactly what it is.
There was a role-playing game, and I've yet to find a copy of this, that was on Kickstarter that was all about playing someone that's disabled. Like they had one of their expanded goals for their Kickstarter was they would add like instead of familiars for wizards, you had like a helper dog or a helper monkey.
I want to say we talked about one like that.
We probably did. I know we covered it on Comic Book Curation and on one of my streams because it was the funniest fucking thing I'd seen in a long time. But I've yet to find a copy of it. If I find it in the wild, I'm absolutely going to buy it, and we're going to talk about it on the stream because that was something to behold. But that's the type of shit that these people produce. It's garbage. It's for very limited audiences, and they seem to think that everybody's going to love this like super niche thing that they want.
I want to point out again that she didn't even point to a developer where she's like, this game is coming out made by this woman. She pointed to a game made by men featuring a female character. Well, what is that? You bring the character on screen, somebody in cosplay, and be like, look, little girls, when you grow up, you could dress up like a character from a game too.
You could do a bunch of flips and fight giant monsters. I don't understand what they're getting at here.
I just don't fucking understand. But this is what we've come down to. And this whole idea that nobody can succeed unless they've seen somebody like them do it first. Ugh. Well, all the white people in South Africa are in for a fucking treat.
Yeah.
Because their representation's the richest person on the planet. Well, depending on how stocks bounce up and down, but usually. So the white South Africans, they should be fucking gangbusters right now, right? There's all kinds of Teslas popping up. I saw I could do it because Elon Musk. You don't need to see somebody like you. You know what you need to see? You need to see somebody doing something. That's it. Yeah. You need to see people who have confidence and faith in themselves, not based on their fucking skin color or the genitals in their pants or their flabby titties, male or female.
What happened to just having fun?
Oh, no.
No, it's all about like, I need representation. Shut up.
I need to see myself on the screen.
Ugh.
Jack, I'm a blonde. Do you know how many blonde characters I saw on screen as a child? Blonde male characters.
In the
Bo Duke.
Oh, what about German films from the 40s?
I didn't watch those growing up.
Oh yeah, you hate black and white. I forgot.
Bo Duke and Fred from Mystery Machine Inc. Those are my role models. I mean, seriously. Oh, you can never do anything. Do you know how many cripples I've seen do these kind of shows?
Ricky Berwick.
I was before him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Jarbo. He's
Well, no.
oh, not developmentally
physically disabled.
Oh yeah. Boogie.
Just the idea that you have to see somebody else. Shut up. Why are you teaching children that?
I don't know. You're gonna have so few role models if that's how you go through life.
Why
so
are you
few inspirations?
Do you think they even realize they're telling kids that? Like, hey, if you don't see somebody like you do it, sorry, man, you're not gonna be able to.
I think they know that because that's what they've been doing to the black community for like 50 years.
Zono says He-Man was an alien. Sorry.
Well, technically, his mom's human. She's from Earth, anyway.
Drago from Rocky. Not really on television. I guess if you want to expand to movies and stuff, you got a few more. But
what you're telling me is your role models as a kid was a rum runner and a paranormal investigator who was bad at his job,
who hung out with a dope smoking dude and a dog
and a couple of hoes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
it's why it's why to this day I wear an ascot.
Oh, that actually makes a lot of sense now. And there are worse things to be than a rich kid that gets to hang out with those guys. So,
Eagle, thank you, because you're pissing me off even more. No, I don't understand why we're teaching kids. Okay, I do understand why it's happening. I just don't understand how it makes sense to anybody that we're teaching kids basic failure over and over again.
Oh, because then they won't try to succeed. And trying is this first step toward failure. But no, they don't want kids to have aspirations, and they don't want unity. They want discord because it's easier to control people when they're broken apart and fractured.
Lindsay said Ricky Schroeder on Silver Spoons. I did watch that as a kid, I will be honest. However, I didn't care about Ricky Schroeder at all.
What about Zach Morris?
That's not from when we were kids.
Yeah, that was like 1986.
When did that show come on?
Saved by the Bell?
Yeah. Somebody looked that shit up. That's like 90s.
No.
Yeah.
I disagree. 1989.
89. So by this time I'm actually not watching too much TV anymore, Jack.
Fair enough. I wanted to really, really bang Tiffany Amber Thiessen.
Oh, me too. And I have
every
seen the show. I've seen the show a lot more in reruns in my 20s, sitting at home watching the kids. But that's not something I watched much myself.
Oh, I loved her. I had such a crush on her.
Tiffany Amber Thiessen I became more aware of for movies before I realized she was on TV.
Oh.
And although the first time I ever did see her was on TV, it was on an episode of Married with Children.
Nice.
Yeah. Greatest American Hero.
Oh yeah, William Katt.
Yeah. But he had curly hair, and while I have curls in my hair, I didn't have the Jufro going on.
Yeah, I think he had a perm. I'm not
he
sure.
did. Yeah. So yeah, there's not that many. Sonny Crockett, is he a blonde?
Sandy blonde, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, maybe in my later years, once I hit my 30s, it turns more sandy blonde. I was a towhead as a child, and then over the next 20 years, it slowly turned to the sandy blonde, but not when I was a kid. No, I wouldn't consider his hair color and mine the same. No. When I was really little, my hair was fucking white, Jack. It was white. not blonde, white. I had to grow into it. Dukes of Hazzard. Already mentioned Bo Duke. Already mentioned, and Bo was cool. He was, and in fairness, he was the cooler of the two. He's the one that always got the lady. Just saying. It's why
the other dude looked like he got hit by an entire ugly tree.
It's why I still blow up outhouses with dynamite on a bow and arrow.
Yeah, that's why I keep a bow and arrow in my car, just in case. You never know.
That is still the coolest scene that makes no goddamn sense.
Yeah.
Why
they always justified it with like one line of dialogue. Grab the bow and arrow from the back that from when we were bow hunting last weekend.
Oh yeah.
What? That's convenient.
Oh, Starsky and Hutch, yeah. David Soul, he was a blonde, true, but not really something I watched as a kid.
The boring guy that hung out with Punch.
Oh, John, no. Was he? Oh, let's see what horrible representation I had. No wonder I'm a failure in life. I'm the guy who quit the show and had to come slinking back.
Real quick. Thank you, Eagle, who says, just because. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
No, as a blonde male, you don't have a lot of representation. And I've never heard anybody like, oh, we need to get more blonde males on screen.
You know who's really going to suffer out of this is the transition people. That like that 16-year-old girl that was balding.
Oh, yeah.
Good luck finding representation for you, because that's a real limited amount.
David Soul was a jerk. Didn't he get in the tabloids a lot?
Probably.
I'm blonde and I have no representative trauma. I know, right? See, man, we were fucked, man. We were doomed from the start. Because tall, dark, and handsome, they don't mean, surfer tan dark. They mean dark-haired, chiseled. Yeah, they never meant us doughy blonde guys. I feel like I need a video game made after me, and I should get to go on streams at major game events and be like, I'm here because nobody else looks like me. I'll leave now. Just saying. Yeah, it's stupid, and I can't believe it's still a thing. I can't believe that it's still a thing, Jack. When I ran across that article, I legit got mad. I legit got mad reading that stupid shit. Okay, where are we?
I found what I was looking for. It was called Limitless Heroes.
What's that?
On the cover of the book, there's a
game. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a picture of a dude in a wheelchair with a battle axe.
Yes, that sounds familiar. That the name. I'm fairly certain we covered it at least a little bit years ago, right?
Yeah. It was. I don't remember when it ended. It's still going. You could buy the book. So if anybody wants a good laugh, I mean a quality product about the disabled, there's the link.
Why am I still sober? Go back and watch the part about how judges are being picked in the United States, and you'll fix that real quick. Throwing that out there. No better representation than Duke Nukem. Again, not a hero from my childhood.
He's a hero that should have been in everyone's childhood. We'd have a lot less pussification these days.
We had nobody. We were always the fat kid.
Yeah, look, until they make doughy kids cool. I guess Bully did that?
Maybe.
Until that happens, I think we're kind of boned. Real quick, though, thank you, Ricky Berwick. At least I'm a popular cripple. Ouch.
No, he's not wrong. I'm not crippled enough to get popular off of it because Ricky looks funky, so anything he does is funny. And then he actually has a biting wit, so I can't take that from him. That's fair. On your screen right now, there's a dumbass meme I saw today, and I don't understand why the chick in the middle is cross-eyed, but it says consent to sex isn't consent to pregnancy. And for some reason, there's a dude with a baby strapped to him. A cross-eyed chunky chick. and a chick who looks like she's faking a pregnancy to get some guy to marry her. Did I describe those right?
Yeah, I guess.
Pretty well. Yeah. She's poking her tummy out like, look, I'm pregnant. You got to put a ring on it. Cross-eyed representation. And is that a Little Mermaid poster? Fuck. Kind of. The tweet that went along with this is really what I wanted to. Pregnancy and childbirth shouldn't be punishment for having sex.
Punishment?
Right? Punishment.
What?
Like, if you have sex, they're gonna be like, get her pregnant now.
Isn't that just sort of the biological reason for sex?
Yeah, biological reason, sure. I saw somebody said the only reason to have sex is to procreate. That's no.
Wow.
Humans are one of a few species who do it for the enjoyment of it. But yes, it is actually the biological feature of it.
I mean, they could always go enjoy their dunk tank at their fanatic church, but
and yes, Faithless, it's a consequence. Not all consequences are punishment. Sometimes the consequence of your hard work is a fat paycheck and a skinny blonde who blows you every morning. It's a consequence. Now, it's definitely probably not going to happen, but consequence doesn't always mean negative.
Yeah.
That just means what happens because of. Anyhow, this just the notion it's a punishment. No, it's not. Shut up. It is the consequence of you having sex. I used condoms. Not very well.
The condoms aren't guaranteed anyway.
Yeah, but oddly enough, there's people who use condoms their whole lives, never get any chicks pregnant.
Yeah, well, look, responsibility is hard sometimes.
Yeah. Look, if you don't want a child, okay? I do not want a child, don't have sex. Because even with sterilizations, short of actually removing the parts that do it, things can still happen. They've gotten a lot better with their procedures, Jack. But gentlemen, if you've had a vasectomy, there's a chance that they can reverse themselves. It's not very common, but it can.
Nature finds a way.
Mm-hmm. No, I got the metal clips and they burned it. Yeah, and your balls be like, nah, man, I want to bust a nut. It happens. The only way to guarantee that you will not end up with a pregnancy is not to have sex. Past that, anything you do, it's just a consequence of you having sex. It's not a punishment. But I shouldn't have to be pregnant. Welcome to the real world. I shouldn't have to be crippled. Go fuck yourself. I didn't do anything to cause this. Oh no, you're going to get fat for 9 months and have to feed a kid from your titty for a couple of years. You'll be okay. It's been going on since the beginning of humanity. Reverse themselves? Are we lizards? No. It's a real thing that happens, and it's not something they told me about. My wife goes to the doctor one day, Jack, and I'm working down in Muskegon at the time, which is a long way from my house. And I get a call that she's in the ER. I'm like, what's up? And I get up here, and they told us that they thought she was pregnant. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Because I'd had a vasectomy, Jack.
Yeah.
And it didn't turn out to be that. It was actually a cyst. It had ruptured.
Oh,
yeah. And it's women who get those cysts. Lady Monkey's had a few in her life. They do not look pleasant. I'd take a period for a month before I'd take one of those.
Ooh. Yeah,
seriously. I would bleed out of my wiener and jam a tampon up there every day before I'd go through a cyst. True story. But they're when they first say it, I what? Like, I've had a vasectomy, and the doctor's like, no, when was your vasectomy? And I'm like, I was 22, and I'm at like 35 at the time. She goes, those are only actually kind of guaranteed for 10 years. I was like, I'm going to need you to repeat that for me real quick. Are you telling me that this shit could grow back together? She goes, yeah, that's exactly what happens. I like, oh, well, I'm glad we did that. I'm glad I spent that week with my balls all, I don't want to say exploded, Jack, but they pump up like somebody overinflated those sneakers from the late 80s.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, and they turn all different colors. It's neat. My balls were celebrating Pride that week.
Wow.
You like that, don't you guys? You like all that. I'm just trying to help out guys who do get a vasectomy. Believe me, it's not as bad as people tell you, but it's fun to scare the other guys who might get one. It actually wasn't that bad. I was only down for like a day and a half, and you're on limited lifting for like what is it, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. But the pain was pretty much gone in 2 days. Not a big deal. Everybody's like, oh, it's the worst pain of my life. I'm like, suck it up, pussy. Would have been nice to know before you took a pair of scissors. Here's the thing. If they had told us that in advance, we still would have had the vasectomy done. Because we're at 22 and we have 3 kids already. Gutenberg, dude, what's up? Is this Top G? How are you, my friend? Somebody was just asking about you in chat earlier tonight.
Hey, Gutenberg, how you doing, man?
I did not read it out loud, but I did read it in chat. Someone said, hey, have you heard from Gutenberg lately? Well, there he is, guys. How you doing, my friend? I hope things are well out there in the land that Rachel Levine built.
Ugh.
Monk had no pullout game. Oh, I did, but life finds a way. My swimmers were like, they jumped the start, I'm gonna leave it at that. So,
yeah, I was gonna say your daughter listens to this show.
She's heard me say worse about my vasectomy and stuff. Because we weren't trying to get pregnant with the third. We weren't not trying. We were like, oh, I'll shoot it over there. But sometimes they sneak through, and I'm glad he did. His birthday's coming up, and happy birthday to my little guy, who is a grown ass adult. Your aim was off. No, my aim was perfect.
A little too perfect, apparently.
Perfect, yeah. It's how good my aim is. Even when I'm trying not to hit it, I hit it. Oh man. Anyhow, what the hell? The hell's going on tonight? Jack, we only have a couple minutes left. Is there one or two in there you want to make sure we hit?
I think the videos are probably the best.
Bounced off the wall and hit the target. Yeah, I was like those Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, McDonald's commercials back in the day. Those of you who know what I'm talking about, that's very funny. Anyhow,
Is it?
It's very funny. How dare you? What do you mean, is it? Oh, goodness. Jack.
What? We had a request from an audience member.
No, I don't mind that. It's that it's on TikTok. And TikTok takes forever to get it to stop playing so you can pause it so that you can play it when you want to.
I know.
All
They're
right.
awful.
Yes,
Chinese
they really fucking
knockoff
are.
video service.
All right. I'm not logging in. I don't even know if I have a login on TikTok.
Probably not.
Mom Lennial returns, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are. We got the Rome lady is back. Apparently she's arguing with somebody, and she's gonna explain. Well, I saw the title, so I'll let it play.
And yet somehow here you are asking me this question that you claim you haven't been able to ask me.
What?
Yeah, did you read the question in the box?
I see the question in the box. I'm not even getting to that part yet.
Oh.
She's saying, here you are asking the question that you claimed you can't ask me, or that you haven't been able to ask me. Well, that's why he's asking it.
Nope, that makes too much sense. Stop. No.
That'd be like me going, hey, Jack, we haven't talked in the last 2 days, so I didn't get a chance to ask you this. And I ask you and you go, huh, you just did ask it. Like, yeah, but for the last 2 days, I couldn't because we weren't talking.
Hey,
Jesus. Anyhow.
So let's look at some of these Julia Augusta coins. I pulled from several museums. Here's one from the British Museum that was donated in 1857 from parts unknown. It was donated by a man named Harry, who was known as a local medalist, aka someone who makes coins.
Yeah. There's ways that they date these things. I mean, you can fake these, and this is absolutely true. One of the worst ways to get conned online is buying coins online. Don't do that, because there's a lot of scammers out there. But that doesn't mean all coins that have been found are.
Sure it does, because they were donated by coin makers.
Medalist isn't a word. Look, Evolved. We can't go too deep on this woman because she's I would go deep on her, but not mentally, because she's shallow.
She's kind of a tard.
That's being nice about
it.
Another one from the British Museum. This one has no provenance at all. Doesn't even say how the British Museum got it.
Well, they clearly made it up. They pulled it out of a skee ball machine.
An ancient one, because it was a circus.
This one from the Boston Museum is really good. It was purchased in 1963 from Robert Hetch Jr., a man who is infamous for being involved in litigation until his death for stealing antiquities and also falsifying them.
But those are two different things. So unless you can prove this one was falsified, saying he stole antiquities just actually makes the claim that they're probably real.
Yeah, and maybe that particular coin is fake and you're cherry picking one coin. They've found a lot of these coins.
Yeah,
like, this isn't like there's only 5 in existence kind of thing.
They are all over Britain. They're just tons. And now maybe not Augustus specifically, but there are just tons of these coins laying all around Britain.
Yeah.
If you follow that main road, what's it called? The highway there that the Romans had. They find these constantly off the side. When just roaming around off the side, because that highway is still there. They're all over because people drop coins constantly. It's like if you go outside of a Walmart, you'll probably be able to find a penny. Doesn't mean the penny's fake. Doesn't mean that Abe Lincoln wasn't real.
You don't know that.
Here's one from the Met Museum, purchased in 1908. Doesn't say from whom or from where the coin came from.
That one I will say looks fake to me. It looks too modern.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of coins are found in good condition and some have been restored, so who knows?
I'm just talking about the facial detail. Most of the coins that you see, and we saw it with the other ones that they showed so far, this is a pretty nice profile.
Yeah.
They're usually not that precise in the profile. That or Augustus was one weird looking motherfucker. Same with
Maybe
Caesar.
so.
I mean, Julius, the coins are found with his imprint.
Yeah, not an attractive man.
And my final example is from the Chicago Art Museum.
See, they look more like that.
Yeah.
Again, absolutely no provenance. It says it was a gift from a Mr. Dunham, but no idea where he got it from. So yeah.
Well, that proves it's not real.
Yeah, just some dude found a coin somewhere and was like, "You guys want this? All right, cool." And they're like, "Fake."
It was donated, therefore it's not real.
Yeah,
Probably
just 'cause-
donated. That guy was probably a medalist.
Yeah, look,
God,
just because they're not telling you where they got it, because may have had some questionable origin,
right.
doesn't make it fake. It just means they're not telling you where it came from. Maybe they know.
Do you think her husband is required to tell everybody he meets where she came from, just to prove that where he got her? Like
Maybe.
I picked her up in a dumpster.
Yeah, those coins might say Julia Augusta on them because they're not from ancient Rome. They're medieval coins, if you're lucky.
Made by the Spanish Inquisition as souvenirs for a circus.
Oh, okay, let's run with that theory. Why? And why wouldn't they make a ton more to prove it better? You know what I mean? Why would they only make a handful and give them out to these 4 people, 2 of whom probably made it up?
Maybe they all know each other, and this was some sort of plot by the Illuminati. We have a lot of people that have never experienced Rome Girl before.
Oh, welcome.
When going on a tour of Europe was rich people vacation, they would get felt covered books to keep the coins in so that they could have, tchotchkes of their time on vacation. A lot of them, though, were just created out of whole cloth in the Victorian era because there was no quality control. Museums would buy anything, and you could make a killing as long as you had no morals or ethics whatsoever.
And she backs this all up, guys, from a set of encyclopedias called Alternate History. What's the actual name of that encyclopedia thing she uses?
I don't remember.
It's something to the effect of alternate history. The chick is absolutely insane. She does not believe Rome was real. She thinks Rome is an invention. Well, hang on. Mostly an invention of the Spanish Inquisition, and that what we call Rome was actually circus and bread. Those are her words. Circus and bread that the Greeks used to go and party at. It was like the Greek Disneyland.
Yeah, that's why you see Greek writing everywhere. There's no Roman writing.
Yes, that's what she said. That out loud. There's no Roman writing.
Reich asked about Herculaneum. That was a Greek city, according to her. She actually believes that. And Rome was not an empire. That mythology was created by the Spanish Inquisition to nobody fucking knows why.
She told us that there is no original Rome manuscripts. And when people pointed out Cicero's manuscripts, she's like, oh, those were written by the Spanish Inquisition.
Yes. All contemporaneous Roman writing was written by the Spanish Inquisition in the Middle Ages.
They had so much free time. They were just writing all kinds of histories about Rome.
Yeah, like you do. You're bored, You're a monk, you're like, I'm going to invent an empire. And then we're going to go seed some fake coins around that were actually just tokens from a touring carnival.
Green Lady Gray says, and she knows how, again, because she reads this alternate history bullshit. And they have this notion that Rome wasn't real because if it was, that means the Roman expansion and everything, I don't know, happened. And she believes what really happened is that Greece was there. and the Greeks were there, and then they weren't, and then there were British people and French people, and they all just popped up.
Yeah, they just sort of, I don't know. This is crazy.
Yeah.
She cracks me up because she jumps through so many hoops to get to this ridiculous conclusion.
We'll have to get to that other one later because I want to cover a few more because some of these, you're right, some of them never heard any of this. But is she an expert? I'm glad you asked that, Green Lady Gray, because for the longest time she told us she had a history degree.
Yes.
I had a history degree. And then it became, well, I don't have a degree. I had to drop out because I had kids. And then it became, well, I took some classes.
Yeah.
Oh, she's amazing for all the wrong reasons.
Every streamer seems to have their lol cow. She's ours.
Yeah, and don't go mess with her. Just
No.
enjoy her for what she. Go over there and watch it by all means.
Yeah, but don't tip the cows. Just enjoy the view.
Yeah, because there's other people who've gotten onto her since we did, and it really is annoying because they've gotten her kicked off several times.
Yeah, and it ruins our fun.
Do you know how long it took us to find somebody this fun to make fun of on a constant basis?
Right?
I mean, the first time we ran into her, she was telling us that Pontius Pilate wasn't real.
Yes.
And it turns out that is all based on her belief that the Roman Empire wasn't real, that it does not exist. Therefore, Pontius Pilate could not have been a person.
He was probably a ringmaster at the circus.
That was just the Spanish Inquisition trying to make Christians hate Romans. I don't know, honestly. But yeah.
Who knows?
That was our introduction to her. Is you found that video of her saying Pontius Pilate wasn't real.
Oh man, there were so many good ones. She deleted a trove of great videos that I wish I could have archived because they were outstanding. Yeah,
it sucks. It so sucks.
Yeah, for like a year, she just vanished too. It took her forever to get back on.
They proven that he was a real person through archaeology. No, Eagle. You do not understand how deep this conspiracy goes. From ancient Greece, through, depending on when you ask her, either the 1600s, the 1700s, or 1800s. It depends which, because she does change her mind. There's basically no history. Basically none. She's also the one who told us that several historical women were black because in their portraits that were painted, they kind of had black hands. Rome, even though it didn't exist, had a whole bunch of female empresses. And we know this because, and I wish I was making this up, the way they used to make the statues for the Roman emperors, they had these beards that they just kind of glued in place on them. So they're interchangeable.
See, their cheekbones were a dead giveaway.
Dead giveaway, yes.
Because men don't have cheekbones.
Men don't have cheekbones at all. None of them.
Yeah. Black hands, you mean gloves? Shh, with your facts. You shush now.
Yeah.
Real quick. Thank you, Evolved Potato. I should remind everyone that nearly all of the things in places like the British Museum that people say are stolen weren't stolen. They were sold or even just given away by the governments of areas they came from. But who cares about facts? Nobody cares about facts anymore. That's how we end up with like lunatic judges.
Well, to that point, she said this guy, he is in constant litigation. She doesn't tell us how many times. She also doesn't tell us how many times he was found guilty of forgery and theft. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
She didn't say he was convicted 15 times during his lifetime of forgery. That would be a compelling case. He was in constant litigation. Several people are. It doesn't mean they actually did anything wrong.
Yeah.
To be fair, they're saying Cleopatra's black now. That comes from a very specific group of really stupid people
Yeah,
who-
well,
who cannot understand that just because something is in Africa does not mean that it is black.
yeah. A lot of that stuff, including like the black people are space aliens, space plant people, that
Wait.
comes from a specific what?
We're not saying that black people are space alien plants.
No, that's other people saying that.
There you go.
A lot of it comes from a specific group of people like Tariq Nasheed that have done all these pseudo documentaries like Hidden Colors. If you guys haven't seen Hidden Colors, it does explain a lot of crackpot stuff you see online about the black community, because they think that this group of people, who I'm not going to name, but are in the documentaries Hidden Colors 1 through 5. They talk about how like ninjutsu was stolen by the Japanese. It was invented by black people.
Yeah.
William Shakespeare, black.
True story. White people have never invented anything.
Yeah, it was all stolen by Whitey.
Everything that white people have done, we've stolen from somebody else. Nothing is legit. Which is interesting, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that comes from that subsect. And Jada Pinkett Smith with her stupid ass Cleopatra nonsense.
Oh yeah, she's one of those that buys into that crazy philosophy.
You know, I saw a guy talking about that on YouTube, and I wish I could remember his name. And he says, you know, Jada Pinkett Smith says it's important for young black girls to see that black women were queens and stuff.
Yes, why did she do a movie about Nefertiti?
Well, yeah, he's like, why didn't you do one on one who actually was black?
Yeah,
because that would be the smart way to do it.
Yeah, instead of a Macedonian Greek. Oh, real quick, thank you, Yakub, the guy who invented Whitey. How dare you doubt my existence? Nobody's doubting your existence, Yakub. Just questioning your scientific ability.
Macedonian Greek isn't Egyptian. No, it's barely off-white. I mean, from everything we know about Cleopatra, she was barely off-white. All right.
Yeah. She was put in place by the Caesars so that she would rule Egypt for them. The historical ignorance is staggering. A 5-minute search would have uncovered that she was Macedonian.
Well, I mean, that sounds exotic, I guess.
I guess, but it's not. Macedonia was never in Africa.
I've got an Egyptian friend. He's as white as me. Yeah, look, I mean, there's the stereotype of, you know, your Middle Easterner. Not all Middle Easterners have, you know, that gold. They don't all have the Jesus skin. A lot of them are honkies.
Yeah,
some of them are even darker. Sure.
Yeah, but that's why they refer to people as sub-Saharan African, because that's where the darker skinned people are, is below the Sahara Desert. Anything above that is typically a lighter shade, more brown, like people in the Middle East, because that's who populated that area. And then the Romans came in, banged a bunch of people, and lightened the skin tone up. So at most, they would look Arab. And that has traditionally been the way that they were portrayed. Very few Egyptians look sub-Saharan African. I think there's like 2 pharaohs that would fit those features. And you could try and deny that, but they have statues, for God's sake.
Dark Resurrect coming through that feminist $12. Thank you so much. What I don't understand is that we know Cleopatra's family was from one of the great houses that ruled after Alexander. The I don't know how you say that. Ptolemy family? There's historic there's historic evidence she was Macedonian. Yeah, no. But here's the thing. You have to understand that these people are not going off of history. They are going off of these new histories. Just like Rome Girl was going off this set. There's a set of encyclopedias that is literally the alternate Houston. I wish I could remember the exact name, but it's the alternate real history. And people like Jada Pinkett Smith are going off this nonsense of like we was Kangs. That there's no reality to it. They don't care about the reality because what they're reading and taking in and believing is that they've been lied to their whole lives. You see, that historical record of where Cleopatra came from. No. That was just Whitey changing shit to pretend that the black people wasn't Cleopatra. Because Cleopatra, I don't know if you guys noticed, she actually looked like Grace Jones.
Right.
Frank Hubbard, thank you. They don't know who mother or grandma were, or who her mother or grandma were. I mean, I guess there's that. Look, I don't know how racist the Romans were, but there's not a lot of evidence of them going sub-Saharan, is there?
Not really. Not that I can think of.
I mean, they were around the Mediterranean. They were in the tip of Africa. Yeah. Anyhow, it's always funny to me because I saw somebody go, having Elizabeth Taylor play her was wrong too. I'm like, I mean, if you mean because she's an American, I guess, because she wasn't Greek, sure. But from what we know, it wasn't too far off of a portrayal.
Yeah.
Like, because this really is a thing. I mean, it's kind of like Americans. You guys do understand that in Spain, it's mostly white Europeans. It's not Mexico that they don't look alike. But we get in, this idea, whether it's through Hollywood or through horrible histories that we are taught, that she's from Northern Africa, she's from the Middle East area, so she must look like Osama bin Laden. Probably not. That's not where she's actually from. It's just where she ruled. Thank you, Frank Hubbard. Ignore DNA. Modern Egyptians are Arab invaders. Many, yeah. I'm not going to get into the rest of this because we'll get in trouble for being too honest about the way racial diversities have popped up across the world.
Oh, real quick. Thank you, Dark Resurrect, for that feminist donation. When it came to Rome, a view on other races really boiled down to is you're either Roman or you're not. You're of this caste or you're not. Yeah, if you were a Roman citizen, you could go anywhere in the empire.
Mm-hmm.
So even people that weren't necessarily Italian could be Roman citizens. So they cared more about what caste you were and whether or not you were a citizen. So there were a lot of countries that still kind of have that attitude. India, for a long time, had a very strict caste system.
Do it, let the hate flow through. It's not hate. I get enough people
like
mad at me, though, when I point out that, Native Americans are actually Chinese. They get real mad about that shit.
Well, some of them were probably Mongolian, to be fair.
I mean, they
were in that region.
From Eastern Asia.
Yeah, they were Chinese, northern Chinese to Mongolia, somewhere in there. So
they literally walked across the land bridge from Asia.
Yeah.
They didn't just spontaneously exist.
You don't know that. They might have.
Oh, man. You tell a Mexican he's actually Chinese, they'll get mad as fuck.
Yeah. Although
it's
if you
funny,
put their babies next to each other, the Mexican babies do look very Asian.
It's because they're Asian.
No, see, I think it was the Mayans and there was a group out of the Southwest somewhere, not the Pueblo, but one begins with an A that I can't think of right now, that thought they came up out of the earth because their world got destroyed. So the gods made a new one, but it was underground, and there were like these ant people there. and they didn't like them, so they didn't get along real well. So they built another world, and then they came out of a tunnel, and then they popped up in the Americas.
You think it's a coincidence that throughout history, an insult for Europeans in both the Asian world and the Mexico South world, and and our original folks here, was wide eye? Think that's all coincidence? Yeah, it must be. They just noticed how big and round our eyes were. And on that, it's probably going to be the end of the show altogether, but let's end the show for tonight. You ready to do it, Round Eye?
Sure.
Guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. I really do appreciate it. I hope we get more Rome Girl because she's amazing for not just how stupid she is, but as another way of seeing the other kind of, we get to concentrate a lot on the political stupidity around here, but there's tons of other stupidity going on in our world.
Yeah.
Tons of it. It's everywhere. Science, history, math. I don't know how the fuck they fucked up math, but it's there too. Pay attention and correct stupidity where you can. Thank you for the donations. You guys are fucking awesome. Really, really, really do appreciate it. Just programming note, I'm not going to be anywhere except my bed. So we'll get to video gaming. I promise we'll do it. I want to, but we'll see when. Jack, anything you want to chill out?
Yeah, I'm going to drop a link to another channel. There's a nice guy called Galactic Bubble Productions. Used to do the Buttermilk Bandits.
Oh, I know him. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he released a video that he may be coming back.
Really?
So I want everybody to go support that because he's only got like 5K subs right now. And it's always produced good content. I'd really like to see his animation stuff come back because I loved the Buttermilk Bandits. So wanted to say that. Plus, go check out BX Beast Boy's video on Hunter Avalon's divorce if you're interested in drama stuff.
You know I'm gonna go watch that.
I know.
Actually, I'll probably do it in the morning. I have so many drama things to catch up on right now. I saw a bunch of it last night. I just couldn't concentrate on anything. So I have a full day. I need a day where like Lady Monkey's working, the little one's not here, and I have nothing else to do to just catch up on nothing but drama shit.
Yeah.
Just because I want to. Not because it's a necessity in life. Oh, one more gaming program. When I do come back, I will not be playing Occupy Mars. That game is a hot mess. It has a ton of potential, but they probably should have waited another year before release at least. And that's too early access.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's got a lot of issues, but it's got a lot of potential, and I will be playing it in my off time to keep an eye on it and watch its progress. And hopefully one day I can recommend it to people, but right now it's a hot mess. So thanks for joining me, Jack.
Always glad to be here.
Everybody have a wonderful evening, and we'll talk to y'all later.
Bye, everybody.
Don't hate Rome Girl for being dumb. Just look at her boobies.